If you felt like an expert and thought you had a master's degree in knowing everything about Bluey, I'm here to expose your lie and take away your outstanding fan medal. Because Bluey hides quite a few things and messages that not even your girlfriend, the Psycho, could notice.
You can only be happy when I'm with you, right, Animal?
Did Chili and Bandit go to parenting school? Does reincarnation exist in Bluey? Should Stripe and Trixie have never been parents? Alright, seriously guys, let's get serious. So grab a donut and let's take a look at everything Bluey is hiding from us. And let's start with something that you've probably wondered about many times but never gotten answers to. If there's a question without an answer, is there an answer without a question? And so, does God exist in Bluey? Or who do they ask for help when they're going through tough times? Well, let me tell you that this isn't a very easy question to answer. Since it seems like there are no clues anywhere that religion exists within the Bluey series. But this isn't a mere coincidence because, in case you weren't aware, the company ABC Australia, which broadcasts the show in its country of origin, has pretty strict rules about including any kind of religion in the program. I mean, things shouldn't be too obvious so there aren't any misunderstandings and they don't end up having to censor Bandit's face. But Ludo Studios is actually pretty clever. And despite all these restrictions, so uptight, they found a way to leave a certain religious reference in the Easter episode. Throughout this whole episode, we see Bluey and Bingo collecting the Easter eggs that are hidden around. But it's right at the end of this episode when the little ones move the yoga ball and we see a glow lighting up their faces. Maybe you think it doesn't mean anything, right? But you're wrong! Since this is a pretty direct reference to the resurrection of Jesus Christ, where a stone was removed to reveal that he had been resurrected. This is exactly the same move that Bluey and Bingo make when they move the ball and reveal their great treasure. This scene did not violate any rules, pacifiers. And at the same time, it honors the true meaning of Easter eggs. Did you ever wonder how Chili and Bandit became the best parents in the world? This is no mere coincidence, friends. They weren't born with the superpowers to be the best parents either. It's more that they actually prepared themselves to know what kind of upbringing they were going to give Blue and Bingo. So yes, you could say they went to school to become parents. And I'm not just saying this for the sake of it. Since in some episodes they've given us hints that they really did receive professional counseling. To know how to deal with their kids when they get really spoiled. And we can see this example very clearly in the episode Bad Mood. Here we can see how Bingo transforms into her worst version, embodying her bad mood. Chili and Bandit, instead of punishing her, let Bingo get all her anger out. For this, Bandit puts on a Viking hat and handles Bingo, who is causing destruction because she is upset. Some might think that a good smack with a sandal could solve all this, but relax, we're not in La Rosa de Guadalupe here. Instead of throwing sandals and using belts, Don Chucrit and Chili allow Bingo to express and process her negative emotions through play, but in a controlled way. And something similar happens in the Pavlova episode. This is because Bluey and Bingo try to trick Bandit so that he'll give them dessert before dinner. And what about the big blue one? Instead of getting upset or punishing them for not obeying him, he creates a character of a waiter who serves them everything except pavlova. A very clever way to teach them boundaries, but at the same time let the girls use their creativity and express their ideas. And just like these episodes, we could keep mentioning many more, like for example the episode of the creek. When one of the little girls is afraid of nature, and Bandit, instead of disappearing and telling her not to be a crybaby, little by little he helps her overcome her fears, and shows her that there's nothing wrong with being afraid, as long as you manage to overcome it. These are things that not all parents would do, as previously discussed. Bandit and Chili really did go to parenting school. One of the most mysterious characters in the series will always be Chili's mom. And wow friends, due to the subtle details provided by the series, it became clear to us that Chili's mom has passed away. It was especially in the episode The Dragon, where Chili openly expresses how much she misses her mom. That's quite curious to me. But in this episode, Chili tries to explain to Bluey that sadness and pain aren't things that will just go away. Rather, it's something you learn to live with. You accept it and move on. And this would make a lot of sense if Chili is really hurt by her mom's death, since at the end of the episode we see Chili clinging to a beautiful horse. But then she lets it go, finally accepting her mom's death. And in fact, the hidden meaning that this horse could have is that Chili's mom had to go through something really tough, since this horse could represent the strength she had to keep going until she was finally able to rest in peace. It's because of this detail that it's speculated that Chili's mom possibly passed away from cancer, and it was long before Bluey was born. And one of the hardest clues can be found in the episode The Grandfather. Chili shows deep concern for her father Mort's health, who is recovering from surgery. Her insistence that he rest and care for himself. It can be interpreted as a result of previously losing her mother, increasing her fear of also losing her father. So we'll probably never see an episode of Bluey and Bingo with Chili's mom. Leave a broken heart in the comments if you're sad about this situation. Within the world of Bluey, there are different types of parenting that are reflected throughout the series, which make Chili and Bandit seem like the perfect parents. But this doesn't mean that all the characters are going to raise their children in the same way. And this became clear to us in the minisode called Side to Side, where they practically put us in comparison. The way Bluey lives and the way her friend Honey lives. They live a very different daily routine. Well, on one hand, we can see that Bluey has always been pretty messy, loves eating junk food, and doesn't like exercising at all. While Honey is the complete opposite of Bluey. She is very organized, loves reading books, plays soccer, and tidies up her house even without her parents asking her to. But these differences don't stop Bluey and Honey from being great friends, because when they meet, they're both very excited to see each other. And this, my friends, is giving us a very clear message. There is no right way to live or to be a parent. Each family has very different values and customs. For example, we have Chloe, who is allowed to say the word pee, while Chili gets very upset because she finds it a rather unpleasant word. Or we also have Indy, who has a very strict diet because she's a vegetarian. And well, we also have Stripe and Trixie. If you ask me, they should be reported to child services, since in some episodes they've shown that they don't care at all about arguing in front of their daughters. They've even traumatized them, since poor Socks goes around imitating their fights at a ratty Frisky's wedding party. So Bluey explains all these dynamics to us from different perspectives to show us that no family is perfect. Let's wait and see how good parents Rad and Frisky turn out to be. And when I say that Bluey is a pretty deep show, it's because it really is a pretty deep show. Let me tell you, they've even touched on topics like reincarnation. Yes, friends, just like you heard. And it was exactly in the episode The Dump. At first glance, it might seem like this episode is just about recycling, when in reality, it touches on some pretty deep things. For example, when Bluey asks Bandit where she was before she was born, we see how Bandit tries to ignore the question by pretending not to understand. And if you pay a little more attention to this episode, you'll notice that Bluey is exploring and discovering what makes a person good or bad. And should her old drawings be thrown away? This is so that in the end, it leaves us with a great reflection that not even your philosophy teacher would have. Well, she believes that the paper for her drawing came from someone else's drawing, giving us a direct reference to reincarnation. Well, we see how all of this is about recycled paper. It tries to make us understand that existence is a cycle that repeats itself, giving a fascinating message to children about how eternal existence can be. You know, matter is neither created nor destroyed, it only transforms. And this can be connected with the detail we saw earlier about reincarnation in the Easter episode. And well, friends, that's all after leaving us with an existential crisis. So leave in the comments which details surprised you the most about Bluey.